I'm going to pick up and reflect on a couple of things that have been said over the last few days as well, which I think will perhaps be an interesting way to start and take things forward. First of all, I want us to think about the shift in technology. We are talking a lot at the moment about the evolution of social media, the way that parliaments are changing and adapting to use technology, both behind the scenes and increasingly and perhaps more visibly public-facing. So the way Twitter feed, Facebook, Flickr, things like that, YouTube are being used. The demand that's being placed on Parliament by members, by the public, to be more accountable, more open, more transparent. But also, I just want to say, let's just think about that. Where we're at with social media now is where we were at in 1955 with vinyl records. And where we're at today with music is we still have a public demand for music. There's still a demand for people who make music to distribute it. But the method, the medium, has changed beyond recognition. And what we do today, we cannot do tomorrow. The challenge is we're not quite sure what it is we do need to do tomorrow. And we never will be, because it will keep changing. So how do we go about doing that? Some of the things that really came out for me for the last couple of days were about relationships. The old siloed model of the institution where one group of people did this job, one group of people did that job, doesn't work. Hasn't worked for a while. It really doesn't work anymore. You can't have an IT function that doesn't work in a way that it understands the business. It can't operate in isolation. You can't have a library that doesn't understand the parliamentary process, and that's been clear to librarians for a very long time. But also, you can't have clerks that don't understand public outreach and engagement, and that don't understand the changing demands of the public. This institution is mine. It's not the people that work in it. It's me as a citizen, as a voter, as a taxpayer. It's here to represent me. And increasingly, I want to see what's going on here, and I want to use the new tools to do that. You have no choice but to adapt them. The challenge is you either do it innovatively, successfully and collaboratively, or you do it painfully. Extreme examples being seen in some parts of the world at the moment. If you don't listen to the people, they will stop listening to you and take it into their own hands. So where do we go as a parliament? Well, some of the great stuff I've heard is around the collaboration, but not just within the institution, also outside. Looking at how we support the smaller parliaments. There's a lot of people in the room here who are from very small parliaments that don't have the resources. And it must be quite scary when we're looking at some of the costs of innovation, how we're going to do that. So I think we have to be more collaborative across parliaments. We've got to look not just at the twinning schemes for smaller emerging parliaments, but also how we can resource research pools that are shared across those parliaments. How do we look at providing good practice, examples from the bigger, more resource parliaments down to some of the others that mean they can just cut out some of the work and implement good solutions. And also, let's look at it the other way. Some of those emerging democracies actually have got a lot to teach us in the established democracies. They're leapfrogging us. Estonia is the absolute classic. The way Estonia operates is just years ahead of everybody else. So we can look around. We've got to learn from each other. But above all, what we're at now is a time of cutting costs, increasing scrutiny, massively evolving digital world, and from that, more public interest, we hope. So we're at a time of disruption.